This is DC Danton, Crow Crusader. I'm just out here. It's about 6:30 in the morning. I just got some video with the camera close up of bunny rabbit here. We have a number of rabbits this year. I saw at least 6 or 7, which is the most I've ever seen here at my parents' property. I wanted to just, since my camera died, I couldn't take any more video, so I'll have to charge that. But I just wanted to take my GoPro out now. It's very nice. The morning is the best time of the day. The lighting is spectacular. I wanted to get this beautiful, beautiful beech tree. This property, this house is close to 100 years old. It's a colonial home. And beautiful. Needs a lot of work all the time. Quite time consuming, considering Dad is 91 and Mom is 84. So it's a lot of work and they can't do it anymore. My parents used to have a Christmas tree farm here, which they ran in the winter time. They retired about 25 years ago. And up till then they were working full-time, and now they've the last 25 years devoted their time to living here and making improvements on the property. What's so spectacular here, if you see that in the background, are the oak trees. They have about 30 trees. You see in the background to get the idea of how spectacular they are. And it's like a park. It really is. This is why they bought the property about 45 years ago. There's some beautiful azaleas and rhododendrons are blooming right now, and the spectacular beech tree there in the background. And yeah, just absolutely beautiful. And my dad also planted a lot of holly trees to feed the birds. The birds love the holly berries, so we have a lot of holly trees here. And but what's spectacular are these oak trees. I don't know if you can see them in the background. If you can imagine, they were here at the time of George Washington. That's how old these trees are. Of course, back then they were just little seedlings, but that's how long they've been here. Unfortunately, they've lost a lot of trees, my parents, due to a disease, and all of these trees are slowly dying. In the last 10-15 years, they probably lost about 1/3 of their trees, which is a huge job to cut these trees down. A lot of holly trees here, which my dad planted. Here's a beautiful holly right here. I don't know if you can look at the trunk on this holly tree. Look at that. Look at the size of that trunk. Yeah. It's about 45 years old, this tree. And it's just absolutely spectacular. Hard to get an idea of just how beautiful it is. Beyond those trees there is the meadow, and they have about 10 acres here. There's a stream that runs along the border, and yeah, they have 2 garages here and one they built. But just to give you the idea of how big these oak trees are, you can see one there in the background. Spectacular. Spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. And it's hard to get it on the GoPro. But just look at the width of the trunk here of these trees. It's absolutely fantastic. Here, look at the width on this oak tree. Look how wide it is. Just look at that. It's absolutely spectacular. Dad planted, obviously the oak trees were here, but all these holly trees he planted. All of them that you see right here. And the dogwood trees and the holly trees go along the whole perimeter here. All along the perimeter, along the edge of the forest, are all holly trees, which Dad planted. Here's a huge cluster of them. And they're all full of berries, and it's just thousands of birds here in the wintertime. I mean thousands. Red robins, blue jays, sparrows. Last night, I don't think I wasn't able to get a video, but we have also swifts here. Believe it or not. I only saw about 10, but they do have swifts here. They were out last night catching their insects. That's the back of the house. They're having the house painted right now on the outside. But what drew them to this property were these oak trees. It's just absolutely spectacular. You can't even see the top of them. It's just spectacular. They used to have a lot of deer here, a lot of deer. I'd say 50 to 60, and they had a giant buck with antlers. It's absolutely spectacular. And the people next door are hunters, and they went with their infrared every night. Even when I was here in the wintertime, I heard gunshots. They were poaching the deer. And we got only about 9 to 10 deer left. All the rest of the deer are gone. So the people next door poached them. Again, my parents were reluctant to file a complaint because they're all alone here, and unfortunately they're relatives of the mayor of this township, so it's very complicated. Actually, one deer was shot and landed here. One or two or three we found in the meadow, and one made it up to the house. And the game warden came out and couldn't prove anything. The deer was shot. It looked like he was shot on our property, but they couldn't prove that the people next door did it. And then they took the deer away. Mom was hysterical. She was crying. It was very upsetting. So, you know, we don't like to see anyone kill any of the animals here on the property. So, but anyway, yeah. So Dad has provided a great habitat for the animals. Come here because they know they're safe. They're not going to be trapped. They're not going to be shot. So, yeah, they gravitate here, and they know that. Here, these are all giant oak trees here. You can see how beautiful it is. You can see how many we have here. It's like a park. It's very much like a park. It's beautiful. So, yeah. Unfortunately, sandwiched in between two bad sets of neighbors. I did put up no trespassing signs. I went out and bought trespassing signs and put them all up on the perimeter property, but evidently the people feel empowered because their relative is the mayor of this township, and they feel they can do anything they want. And they have a stand, which I think I'm going to take a walk down the meadow there, and I'm going to show you the stand if it's still there. Deer stand where they actually shot the deer right on my parents' property, and also they spook them from the property to run onto their property so they can shoot them. So it's really bad. I will try to get a video of that, and a video of their residence where they live. and their name. So, yeah, well, I feel I need to do that. My parents unfortunately have to sell this property, so I don't think one way or the other they care at this point. But 10, 20 years ago it was a different story. Okay, well, just gives you an idea of the beauty of this property and these trees. They go all the way up. You can't see the top. It's spectacular. So, yeah. Anyway, we also have, Dad planted, they have a huge garden here, but this is the first year Dad has not been able to plant the garden. He's just too ill. And, yeah, we did have a little bit of asparagus come up, which Mom cooked up for me. The last of the little bit of asparagus, but other than that, the garden is, there's nothing here planted this year. So we'll go here into the little orchard. Dad put a little orchard in here. Again, there's holly trees everywhere. There are so much berries here to feed the birds. It's just unbelievable. And there are a lot of berries here on the trees this year. You see the berries already formed.